Hello and welcome to the deliciously titled Mr. Chapple's Handcrafted podcast. And this is the point where I remind you that we are, as always, sponsored by Close Call Creative, your one stop shop for creative direction and digital media solutions. And this is also the point where I ask you, please, to come and subscribe to the YouTube channel, to follow us on Spotify, and all those good things. And with that, I'm going to introduce you to the very awesome Rebecca Dow, best known, I would think, to anybody that's watching this as the lead singer of the unfortunately and much lamented gone band Virgins. With that, Rebecca, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi. No, this is really good. I'm glad to be here and have a wee chat. I always love our natters anyway, so let's
I
do
love
this.
the opportunity to talk with you. As you know, we can structure this around a little bit about your past, what you're doing at the present, and then onwards towards the future. And in terms of the past, I want to take you back to the very beginning. What are your earliest memories of music and of specifically of music meaning something to you?
So I think everybody's going to answer this question with um, far better answers than me, but my earliest memory of music having an effect on me was having one of these little microphones as a kid with the stand, and there was two pedals at the bottom, like a buoy and a cheer. And I used to just take myself off. It didn't matter what was happening in the house. It didn't matter if it was a happy day or a sad day. I would just take myself off and sing and press the cheer button and just get into my own little world, just absorbed in whatever song that I could find on my mom or dad's CD player to sing along to. But
Oh, I
I
love
I love
that.
that play, that sense of play, and I think it's it's a great place to find yourself, and that's probably where a lot of adults really do find their grown up hobbies, you know. So.
And can I ask you, how did you move from that into the musician, the performer, the singer that you are now? When did it become something a bit more real for you?
I probably like sitting as a teenager, as we all do, listening to the same album, which was our only option most of the time before Spotify and stuff came out, and listening to the songs over and over again until you knew every word. And I studied GCSE music. I wasn't fantastic at the theory. I don't like instructions. I like learning by doing. And my music teacher said, for your like performance piece, we're gonna just get you to play all the instruments and sing and write a song. Um, and I just had an amazing time in this hidden studio. I went to Ashfield Girls' School, and they had this hidden studio behind the music room that nobody knew about. It was always like this weird window behind her desk. And I had the opportunity to see inside and just work away on everything. Having that come together was magical. Like, what 16-year-old girl or boy like gets to do that? Well, a lot of people maybe now because we can buy all the equipment at home, but back then, like, it was hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of equipment like that I could play on, you know. And then hearing the feedback from the other people who maybe had skills in playing beautiful violin or piano or whatever it was. But I just have always steered my own canoe, you know. So off on a tangent, I went and enjoyed myself. And ever since I've been in bands, I was the first drummer in Ashfield Girls, and they started a rock band, and we got to play at Rats, the school theatre play. So it was what do you call them? Sex Pistols, all their music, and that's not the normal stuff that we would have got to learn at school, you know. But ever since, I've just been in bands. Like, I enjoy the camaraderie and the unknown that comes out of a safe environment, you know.
I love that, and I didn't realize that you went to Ashfield Girls. It's just down the road from us here. Um,
There you go.
and, yeah, I think they should be very proud of, an alumnus such as yourself. In terms of your influences, what was the last thing, was it, be it a record, a gig, or a conversation that really genuinely excited you creatively?
It's a hard one. I am not an easily influenced person. I don't like just taking on information and accepting it for no reason. I've maybe got into arguments with certain people, teachers, and not others who respected it, and their brains were thinking alike, so we all find each other. But um, it's a hard one. I think actually it might just be from the normal people. You know, like a normal music teacher or a normal guy at the caravan site who played guitar and everybody had this magical meditation moment together. Not over meditative music. It would have been something like David Gray covers or something, you know. Um, and yeah, I love that spontaneity of humans coming together. So it's not necessarily that I'm influenced by artists themselves. I very much enjoy hearing that I am like certain people because that allows me to have a mirror on myself. It's hard to judge yourself, you know, and hear what other people hear. But I feel like it's more of a sensation that I have been inspired by, you know, that just the togetherness. It's a big desire of mine to feel safe and one with people, you know.
Like that. We've talked about, you know, where you're from and such. D- And this is a question I come back to with a lot of the guests on this show. Do you think that this place has shaped your sound in ways that you can actually hear? Like, we always talk about there being a musical legacy to Northern Ireland, and in sometimes when I talk to people about it, it feels very limiting. Other times it feels refreshing, and it gives us a sense that we're locally punching above our weight. And I realize those are kind of extremes on a spectrum, but I'm interested to hear from you. Do you think that this geography, this history, both politically and musically, influences us and shapes us?
Yeah. I mean, Northern Irish people are and Irish people are inherently polite most of the time, um, to the point where we ask each other as we're walking past people in the street or people that you know in work or wherever, friends on a night out, and you go, "Oh, how are you?" And then people keep walking, and I used to stop and go, "Oh, I," and then they'd not actually want to know the answer. And I ask people, and I genuinely want to know, so that even that sort of culture of I'm throwing out a high, but I'm walking on. I don't actually care vibe. I feel like it's more of like a security thing because there's so much stuff going on in Northern Ireland and the UK and all over the world that it's almost like a protective thing. And I feel like if we can all get together at like festivals or just nights out playing randomly sets with other musicians that we hadn't intended to be playing with or um working with photographers or whoever that seems to come in, I feel like uh, that is shaping the new culture and the new way of how people get together and express themselves. And there is like an unwritten, not a rule, but like a thing that you know, you show up and people thank you for being there. You know, in the music community, you don't go out on a night out somewhere and people say thanks for coming. Like the bouncers don't really do that. Like I say thanks on my way out, but I just feel like there's there's a sweetness in being open and all these wee hideouts of where, like, music's happening live and playing, and there's all these unknown bands, like, popping up in Northern Ireland and then dispersing and popping up somewhere else. Those same characters are, like, doing little projects here, there, and everywhere. It's it's like chasing molehills or something, you know? There's something deep underground within us as people that have a need to get together, but, like, we're just going, "Oh, hey," you know, but we're not talking about the deeper stuff that's going on around us, and even if we're sharing lyrics that sort of express some of the things that are hidden inside or not sitting right in our culture, like, there has been a massive wave of people getting up and talking about, like, even Free Palestine or, like, gender things and all sorts of stuff, um, and it's interesting because it is a safe place to talk and have free speech through music, and that definitely is shaping the culture. I have my oldest younger sister, I'm the oldest, is, like, 11 years younger than me, and then I'm now one of 6. I was my an only child for years, and even just watching how they do as adults and people, it just shows me that all these things that you see within the music scene and other arts, you know, are clearing the path for just a more relaxed way of living. You know, we don't need all the rules. We just want to be nice and have fun and have these genuine interactions with each other.
I think that's really
And
interesting
that answers
because
it.
yeah, because when I've talked to people about this before, we talk about it in terms of the present being, so heavily influenced by the past, and that the past influences the current musical climate. You clearly see it in a different way, that you're looking that the music scene in itself is part of the driver for change within society.
Yeah,
And
it's rumbling.
yeah, I see where you're coming from because, I go to a lot of these gigs and the talking about politics, for example, Palestine is quite a common part. Talking about gender politics is, again, and then when you see stuff like, what Carlin Brown is doing with the Trans Pride fundraiser work, there are all these things that are coming together that are bringing conversations for younger people into the mainstream, and, I think it's fantastic, and I'm very glad to see it.
Yeah, people aren't going out, like, as much to, like, hit on someone, you know, find a mate. They're going out to, like, hit on topics and find their place and why they're here, you know, it's
I
nice.
love your turn of phrase, that is absolutely beautiful. I've long said that I am very, very glad that I am not in today's dating world, but you've just made me
Me too.
more sure of
Scary.
that.
Oh, god.
So I want to talk to you about your creative process. You're writing songs, and the question I have is, like, where does that begin for you? Are we talking about feelings, a particular sound, a lyric, an image? And how do you go from that initial piece to eventually a completed piece of music?
So I am very much a feelings person. I think I could live without a body or speaking or hearing or seeing. I everything feels like it's processed into emotion for me. So it definitely starts off as a feeling. It could be from a good day or a bad day or like something just really exhilarating happening or I don't know, just sometimes you just get these waves of like content ecstasy almost, you know, just being in nature or yeah, creating. And I feel like when I'm on my own in the house or on my bike, sometimes music just comes in and I do feel like it's a soundtrack being played to me, even though it might be a song that hasn't been heard before. Um, and then I'll just groove with it for a wee while, and I do now take note. So something will happen, and then I know that I'll get distracted, and at any moment I'll be snapped out of my spell. So I get my notes out, and I'll even do like a voice to text thing as I'm playing with it, and then later I will get the lyrics up and either store them for a song that maybe somebody else has wrote that needs the lyrics, and I feel like this is the music that was meant for this, or I will create something myself, you know? So, but the music usually comes after. However, when I was in other bands previously, and I still do a bit of this now with David, and I did it with Virgin stuff. And then I would have like done like dance tracks years ago when I was like a teenager and stuff. And it would have been the music first and then the lyrics came in. And usually I would just sing it in like we call it like Simlish. So I don't know if you ever had played the games The Sims and they'd all just walk up to each other and be like but like, you know, they're not actually words. But it was very expressive in itself. Or like Pingu, they don't speak words, you know, it's just this safe place. And then later sometimes if I listen to me singing in non-word, I hear the words that I'm singing, or other people hear the words, and like, "That sounds like you're saying that," and I'm like, "Ooh," you know, and it wasn't intentional, and then other times I will intentionally put in what I want, or there's sometimes just gaps, you know, but it is very much I like being handed something and playing with it, and it doesn't matter if that's a back-end track or, like, music from somebody else or guitar or whatever, and then doing that, or from wherever it is that tells us what to do, you know, and there's that, and I'm like, "Oh, I have to get somebody else to help me make this into the thing that it was sent to me, like, and it was supposed to be," if that makes sense. It's all invisible, you know? So
I suppose from that you've mentioned, a lot of your work does seem to be you on your own. Do do you collaborate well? Do you find working alone suits you better, or do you prefer that interchange of ideas? And I suppose the other part of that then becomes, has that changed over time?
very much so. It used to be, like, mostly me on my own, and now I love collaborating with other people. I keep getting told that I need to think of, like, a stage name or whatever, and I just don't even want to because I feel like every time I do a new project with somebody, it brings out, like, not a different personality, but, like, a different side or essence that I can find in myself, and I I need to collaborate with other people. There's no point doing this on my own. You know, it's not the same. It like when two people step back and go, yeah, you know, that's the best feeling. When you do it on your own and you're asking somebody else to listen to it and clap for you, whether they like it or not, you know, it's not the same vibe. It's nice when you have this like secret mission together and you just get on with it no matter how many people are involved. Like sometimes it can start off just two and then you go, "Do you know what actually? I know somebody who plays really good bass and I need a little bit of that in," or like maybe you're out and you're suddenly inspired by like, I don't know, folk or trad music. You're like, we're gonna throw some of that in there, you know? It's I don't want to be stuck in a genre, so collaboration is a must, you know?
I love that. Um, I know that some people look for various external achievements or benchmarks to gauge their success. And I know that from talking to you, that's just not you. Can you take me through what success means to you and how you define it?
Just lying down in bed at the end of the day and going, "I had a good day." It doesn't matter what little, like, to do I have ticked off that is to do with the music, whether it's completing a song, finding somebody that's right for, like, doing something in the song or helping somebody else out, going and playing a gig, like, I doing this stuff, it's nice going to bed every night and going, "Ah," like, mission complete for the day, and then you can just download all those good memories into your happy bank for later when you're having a terrible day, because we all do at some point, and and then that's why we wanna be here still, So it's not about I don't I don't need to be famous. I like it all goes back to this having interactions with people. Maybe I am an alien and I just wanna know what it's like to be human, but there's other people out there that feel like that too. So, it's yeah, that's all it's about really.
Maybe I am an alien and I just wanted to I know what it's like to be human. I suppose I'm not accepting the thesis at face value, but isn't that, for a lot of us, that is what the artistic endeavors in our lives are about. The exploration of our humanity at an individual or a shared societal level, and looking at the stuff that connects us.
Yeah, that's all it is, which is a really basic thing. And then you're probably looking at me going like, I can't get anything else out of this girl. But it's that simple. It's a very complex formula, isn't it? But just getting something so basic as that, it can be quite difficult.
You know, and I'm just thinking back to the numerous times I've seen you perform, and whether it's turning the camera or just turning my head to see that connection that any artist, but yourself and very much included, has with the audience. And there can be people of different backgrounds, different worlds, different expectations in life, and they're in that moment sharing this piece of sound and emotion with the band, with the singer, and there is that very human connection, and which brings us all together. And I hope that I always hear singers in particular say, can't see the audience because of the lights, but I do hope that it's not so blinding that you're blinded to the love and the joy in the audience in front of you.
I I don't even really look at people, well, this is it, and this is what I mean about that I could have no body and still be here because I like it. People have said to like the other people I play with, they're like, she's just off in somewhere else, and I do go off in somewhere else, but I'm hoping that in spirit she will join me, and we can just be in the room without looking at people. Like, sometimes you can't even have a conversation with someone without them, like, checking out your hair and, like, what you're wearing and looking at your ears and all these things, and your beard, whatever. I don't have one, but if I did, they would. So, but all these things, and all you really wanna do is, like, stare into each other's eyes, but then it gets freaky because it's strangers. So, if we can just all go inside ourselves and then, woof, into the atmosphere, and then you feel a room, like, everybody can walk into a room and be like, "Oh, something shitty's happened." I don't know, am I swearing here? Or you can walk into a room and be like, "Everyone is having an awesome time," or there's different feelings, like, there's even, like an unsettling feeling, or like there's all the different things, but I want to stand in a room with people and not talk. Thank you for talking with me today. But I want to do that. I want to, even if it's words in a song, it's nice that they're not like clear and direct. I kind of feel like it's important that even if someone hears what I'm saying and gets the wrong message, it would be a nice conversation to have with them and trying to like see eye to eye rather than just telling people this is my clear lyrics, this is what I'm saying, this is what I believe. I agree with that other bands doing that, but it's just not my style. I like the one on ones. I like people coming up being like, what was that? And uh, that's important. So yeah, I don't need to look at anybody, and I don't need them to look at me. But just be there in the darkness.
You make a compelling case for disembodiment. And with that, let me move you on to, you've been around in bands for a while now. You've, I imagine, seen quite a bit of the Belfast music scene, and I'd ask you, do you feel that has changed or developed since you've first got involved? And is that change positive, negative, neutral?
Um, it's a funny one that it's hard to judge situations like that sometimes when you know that other people that are in the music scene sharing that space with you, whether they're playing or just they're listening to other bands. Um, that a lot of people feel nervous before and after during gigs, or they're just like buzzed out of their head, like on the whole like thing of playing. And um, I don't think we always get like a genuine judgment of people. And when I was younger playing, I always felt like there was this like really mean competitiveness, and that just wasn't me. Like I used to not eat because I felt so sick before doing gigs. This was like when I was like early teens, or not early teens, early 20s, like late teens. And then I was like sitting there going, I don't know why I even agreed to this, but I'm so glad I pushed through. But I know that there are other people out there experience stuff like that. Or they've had to go to a gig and play in front of people tonight, and they've like had something else going on in their lives or whatever. Um but it is hard to make a judgment on it. But I do feel like the stuff we talked about earlier about being open about different matters culturally and whatever, that people are learning to be more open. So it's maybe not as competitive, but it needs to be, because if you don't do those gigs that you go and get weird vibes off people, or feel nervous or feel competitive or whatever, you'll not go on to do the gigs later down the line where you go, I don't care. I'm just here because I'm here and the wind blew me this way and I'm winning. It's all good. But so it will be forever growing and changing, but there will always be those underlying like feelings in the room, and like people giving you weird vibes or looking at you funny or just like saying things that are so not normal. But that's okay, because like everybody has word vomit, and everybody has their own facade at some stage in their life before they like break out of being a teenager and be like, that's too much to keep up. Just keep growing. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's nice that it's more accessible. It used to be really only like the rich kids that got to do like big gigs. That part of it's great. So
Do you see a more, shall we say, democratization of the music scene, that is more accessible? And if so, why? Why is that change coming?
it's massively more accessible. People want to collaborate. People want to go out and make music or just hang out with other people that aspire to, because or even just people that enjoy it, because all the other things are getting boring. Like we've all been to discos, we've all done the stuff. People There was a whole fad for a while of everybody being an influencer, so I think that kind of like took a lot of it to a new level as well, because people like need media for their social media channels. Even if you're just a normal person, which we all actually are, that people want to have the nicest photo or the best. Like I do too. Like whenever you take a nice photo, you're like, yeah, that's amazing lighting. Whatever it is, it could be a stage, it could be a butterfly, whatever. Like it really doesn't matter. But we'll shoes, but but there's this competitiveness thing going on, but I think we're past that as well. It's just now everybody needs these like tailored memories, as well.
I think it's a very human thing. We're I've often heard it said, may your life be as good as you pretend it is on Facebook. Um, and, I'm as susceptible to it as anybody else. But yeah, I think there are more opportunities that we're seeing that, the the cost of equipment in terms of recording and getting your musical vision out there
Mhm.
has in real terms fallen. But is there more we need to do to bring the kids that didn't think they had a future in music into the scene?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear that all gates are open, and they know, like, they know they can record something on their phone and just stick it up and online, and somebody sees it, or like there's no stopping people. There's no limit on quality either. Like, you could start off with the worst quality things, but people see some magic in you, or just like, there's people out there just busting to make music with other people. Like, it doesn't even matter who they are if they don't even like the same music. You will find people. There's no welcome sign needed. And if there are people hiding out shy, all I can say is just get on with enjoying your own kind of music, or go on to those, like, there's like searching for like band member pages and things and websites, and there's 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 a band down the street from you, or there's musicians round the corner. Like, there's it's so, so accessible, and because of the whole media thing, it is now everybody wants to be in a band. Well, not everybody wants to be in a band, but everybody can share it like you would have in the olden days. So, like, when, like, film and camera and recording stuff wasn't normal, like, to have in the home, or on your phone, it would it was difficult, but now it's not, and all you need is a YouTube channel, which are free. Like, there's no stopping you. Obviously, there's like a level of production behind things that you start to, like, have an acquired taste for. But, you know, don't run before you can walk. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll all come together at some point, you know?
Love that. Yeah, that's a really positive and very wholesome view of opportunity that's out there. And yeah, I think a lot of people are using that to, well, hopefully its full extent. I always think there's more to be done, but I think yeah, we have these tools at our disposal, and it's in our own best advantage to use them.
Maybe
We talk.
next, instead of, like, everybody start sharing stuff just on their mobile phones, we could just sing as we walk down the street. Or dance, or that's like the next level. I don't know what the next level is. Somebody's gonna have to up the ante at some point, but
Okay, I wasn't prepared for that answer. But yeah, if I'm walking down Royal Avenue and I see you breakdance past me, I will definitely wave.
Good.
Coming back to where I wanted to go, where I'd expected to go was we talked about the venues that are across this city. Are there any of those that are really special to you that you kind of walk by it and you do go it just gives you a chill that there's a special love for one or more of these places?
I don't know about a special chill, but I do love the OES Centre. I feel like I just go in, and I'm like, I'm sitting in my own living room. My living room looks nothing like that, but just that vibe of, like, I'm relaxed. That's nice, and it's nice going up and playing in there and feeling like maybe I'm just having a jamming session. It's not. There's an audience, and there's people doing sound and all the stuff that goes on behind, but um it is nice just getting to the point where you can do things with your eyes closed, and in the OES Centre I feel like that's nice there. obviously there's hiccups always with things, but that's one of those places. To be honest though, I have played in some awesome places. Like was it Kilkenny Theatre? It was so shiny and pretty, and, like, there was balconies up the top, and I went into the green room, which was amazing, and the bathroom was like, "Oh!" Just, like I just remember just sitting, like, doing a quick wee wee before I went on stage, like, "Oh my god, like, this is amazing. This is not, yeah, yeah." It's just so, so nice, and it does make you wanna shake yourself, like, even Mandela Hall, like, it's such a big stage, and, I like big stages. I Wee stages are hard. You get all the sound of everything, and the bigger the stage, the better, so my favorite places are probably the bigger places, but OES Centre is, an exception.
I've got to agree with you about the OES Center. I think I've filmed more bands at the OES Center than I have anywhere else. And while I was originally just aware of it as a venue, as I've kind of spent more and more time there and got to know some of the people behind it, getting an understanding of all the diversity of the work that they do, again, not just as a venue, but as the support that they give to artists and bands is phenomenal. We are so lucky to have this in our town.
Mhm, yeah, it's great. It's really, really good, and I love that they hire people, like through their social media, they'll throw out, lots of people do now, to be fair, companies do, but they've always been very much with like, let's bring people from the community to work here. Let's um hold hold space for young minds. And it is so, so important because you can all of a sudden just realize you're an adult and it's too late and you didn't get to do any of those things. Like, but they're making the space. And I tell people constantly, um, that are creative in any form, it always seems to come back. You should go and have a look at the OES Centre and all the things that they're doing. Because there's something for everyone there. Like it's not just music stuff.
Yeah, like the diversity of the shows they put on, is just phenomenal. And it seems almost churlish to pick one amongst so many great venues, but yeah, you've picked
Mhm.
a good one.
Yeah. And the people that work
And
there go on to do great things as well. It's very impressive.
yeah, um, is there a type of music, a project, or a format that you've never done, but would really like to try?
This is really big, but and I don't care if anybody laughs at me, but I really want to play with an orchestra. So there. it, I love how big and bossy it sounds. You can have like scary music or like ballet things. Like, oh, do you know the people that play down in the theater, like the opera house and stuff, and you don't see them, which is such a shame. But I would like to sing with those guys because they know what they're doing. They're happy to hide away, although I wouldn't have them hidden away. But they're creating magic there, and it's just filtering whatever's coming out from the stage. So
That is a very, very cool, ambition to have. I don't know, have you seen, Susie Pagold's, recent, one where she was on stage with, and the rest of the band, on stage with at the Albert Hall with a full
ah,
orchestra?
no, that sounds
Um, yeah, I'd heard about it, and I finally got to see it recently as they're like, "Oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh, my advice to anybody is, like, watch it on the biggest screen you can and as loud as you can possibly have it. Fantastic performance from both, Susie and her band and from the orchestra, but seeing something like that makes me understand why you would aspire to do something like that.
That's been a
So,
little girl dream, but yeah, yeah, it's magic.
suppose back to talking about, venues and such, is there a venue on your bucket list or a festival that you'd love to be part of but haven't managed yet?
There was, um a lot of the festivals are struggling at the minute, it's kinda hard. I don't know that obviously the big ones are what we all watch, on TV, like Glastonbury and stuff, but de I mean, that would be amazing. But, uh, I loved playing at Stendhal. We were there last weekend, which was 2 years after I played and we sang, or I sang, we played. And, um it was brilliant. There are ones over, like, in England, and there's, like, the Barefoot Festival and, like, these sort of more, like, hippie tribal vibes, but I like I like plans and being organized, but in terms of, like, creativity, I I don't like boxing things off. I'm totally open. I like a wee surprise. Most of the things, the, like, festivals and stuff we've played at, I hadn't heard of before, so I know that there's other ones out there that aren't given the same airspace that would be fantastic, but, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you weren't gonna, immediately go for the biggest ones. It was always gonna be an answer that had something interesting and quirky in it. So the Barefoot Festival, I have to learn more about.
Well, that was there last year. I think they're now gonna do, like, events, um, a bit smaller scale, and the whole thing that I see come in with festivals is that people are going, "Why are we making a town for like 10,000 people for a few days?" And they're leaving the land all messed and the houses are their wee huts are empty and there's all these things like it would be amazing if festivals could turn into this, and I'd like to play at one of these, is like this initiative rather call it a festival, but it's more of an initiative of these places are left better than how we find them rather than worse, you know? Well,
I
whatever it is.
again, yeah,
So like
that's a
turn up
beautiful.
to somewhere that is a mess and we all put our bells and whistles on the place as we're staying there, paint things, make things, do all the things that you do at festivals, have drinks, have music, have fun, but like leave places better rather than trash the plates.
Beautiful. I love that. And yeah, you know, we we talk about it in terms of art that we want to leave the world a better place than we found it and more enriched. It maybe we should be applying that to festivals too. I like that idea. With that, can I ask you about what you're working on now and when can we hear it?
Monday. So there's a whole load of stuff. Um, Monday, I have my
So
most
just for
recent
clarity,
gig.
it'll be Monday the 13th of July. So
Monday the
it'll be
13th of July.
a week after
And
this goes.
yeah, there's the single is called Objects. It's my first single working with somebody new that I've met this year. We have interacted over the years, but when things align, it all works out. So, um, it's coming out Monday. It's I don't even know how to describe it. David said it's like tribal dance orchestral. I'm like, there's so many vibes I get from it. There is like a bit of a dancey sort of thing happening, but it's like soft, like pop in that way. But anyway, I met Darren recently. He had made the music and I got to sing on the tracks. And he has this nice schedule planned. So we've been sticking to that as best we can. And I don't like rushing things, so I don't need a shoddy job of stuff. I like doing like the best I can do. Um, but this is me sharing my first thing. Well, he's sharing it on his accounts, but it all links up. And then going forward, I have also got like an EP's worth of music with David, who was the rhythm guitarist in Virgins, also my boyfriend, and he lives here, and then that makes it all nice and easy. Um, and we just flow whenever we want to. And then last year, or is it a year and a half ago now, um, Ross Alexander approached me. He is so talented. He plays pretty much every instrument going. He doesn't even need to play it. He just is able to play it. I like this. I am like this. I'm maybe not a master of instruments, but I love my auto harp though. It's mine. But but he's able to just play so many things. So anyway, he we've got a whole album sitting. But it has taken Darren Spears with this new single Objects to just kick me in the arse off the edge and just share the stuff because he was going to share it anyway. And I obviously wouldn't have done it if I wasn't happy. Like we worked on it and it was a lovely, really, really nice flow. Um, but that has just made me go, well, there's some tea spilt out of the pot, may as well pour the rest, you know. So, well, that's what's coming next. So there's the stuff. Oh, and then I have some music where it's just me playing my auto harp. David bought me this auto harp for my birthday last year, and I have played it every day since. I haven't ever felt like this about an instrument before, but um, it just works. So yeah, so there's the stuff with me and my auto harp. There's mine and David's stuff, which is virginal, like shoegaze kind of vibes, and then the stuff with Ross is like electro pop, but um, I think I quickly stopped on like using lyrics to, we'll just use this word, slobber about like a bad day or whatever, you know, just bleh. And there's a lot of that going on in it, or like me thinking of memories or like trying to get through like gritty growth spots in my own life. Um, and that's all stuffed in with the album with Ross. And it's really mixed up. There's like, I don't even know how many genres really is going on in there. And then this stuff with Darren Spears, he has his own sort of an plan, but I think I can get him to go off tangent very soon.
I love it. And I knew that there was going to be a richness and a variety in what you've been working on. But for anybody listening and watching, uh, Objects by Together You're the Mountain, and that is out a week ago from broadcast of this on the 13th of July. That we move on to now. um, can you tell me, what do you wish someone had told you at the beginning that would have influenced your career, would have maybe made something easier for you, or short-circuited an otherwise painful learning experience?
Just do it. Like, just don't think you can't do this because people will look at you funny, you know, like, or you can't work in a restaurant and do gigs. You can't like be a doctor and sing, or like all these things. Like people seem to look at people that sing slightly differently to people that play instruments. I think they think that they want attention or they like crave an audience, but they're just playing their own instrument, you know? And I feel like I have been shy because I don't want to be like in people's faces. So I keep things to myself a lot of the times on music and stuff. Or I don't like, I would be far quicker in sharing stuff if it was just instruments, but because it's me, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. And I wish somebody had it just pushed me in and gone, it doesn't matter. Like you can do what you want, you'll be dead soon. You know, that's it though. You do,
I
yeah.
think that,
And
yeah,
there are people
that's
that will
right.
treat you badly and misjudge you, you know, but just whatever, just they're weird. Leave them alone.
Yeah, just get out there and do it. And this very much chimes with my own mantra that I'm starting to adhere to, is they just asking the question, how do we have more fun? And
Yeah,
then go do
yeah,
that thing.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And then after
So
you're like, "Ah!" "Can't believe I just did
well,
that, and I
you
haven't
know
hurt
what?
anybody or annoyed them."
Yeah, and you know what? If that didn't turn out to be fun, you don't need to do it again. And if it turns out to be fun and it brings you happiness, hopefully brings happiness to somebody else, keep doing it as long
Yeah,
as it keeps bringing you fun.
yeah. And probably the other thing would be that if you really hate it one time, also, it doesn't mean that that's it ruined forever, because there have been times, like I messaged you one time being like, "Oh dear, everything went terribly wrong and you have that filmed. Can you please not? Because if I see it, I will cry." But I have sat with David after gigs where the sound has been terrible. Like, I went through a phase of using two microphones and a phase reverse to try and get the volume up because they want to be singing softly, but you can't sing softly and be heard in that, like the virgins and stuff. It has been a problem in other bands where people are like, "Oh, she sings so beautifully and softly," and they don't want me singing loud. So there's this thing, but I have sat at the laptop watching a recording or listening to a recording of us playing live, and the sound not being right and not being able to hear. It sounds like the, you know, two guitarists are playing in completely different tuning, and your body's like between the two. And one minute you're singing with that guitar, and the next minute you're singing with that, and then you listen back and you're like, ah! And I have sat just screaming at the laptop, going, ah! And David's like, huh, huh, and I won't let him see, but I am just like hysterical because I'm like, this is stealing my happiness. I don't want anything to steal my happiness. This is precious to me. So, um, so just remember, if that happens, it's okay, because everybody has terrible sound sometimes, and it's not about you or the musicians. It's just like the venue sometimes can just have weird walls and weird places, or when the room fills up, it sounds much more blah than whenever you're in an empty room with lovely reverb. Just,
So
so
I just want to go back to a particular part there where you talked about, just in passing, about messaging me after a gig. That was in the black box. And I remember as I was filming it going, I don't know if I should be filming this because you seemed so desperately unhappy. And,
couldn't hear a
the
thing.
yeah.
It's a
And
tiny, tiny stage. There was drums up my arse. Uh, so much noise that it's a weird thing to say this, but there's so much noise sometimes, it's so loud that you can't hear anything. It's just, you know? So that's
yeah,
what happened.
that was one that when I got your message asking, if it was possible not to make it public, I kind of expected it because I knew you were unhappy on stage, but the corollary to that is always, did you look down and find anybody or see anybody not having a good time? Because the audience was loving it. The audience loved the sound, loved the performance, loved everything that was going on. Realize it wasn't a particularly happy experience for you, but the rest of us were loving it. It was great.
I was drowning, and it it's so, so important to be able to, like, have clarity, even if it just means making everything a little quieter, so that it's quality, not over quantity, sort of thing. And I can't, like, just look at my fingers and be like, "That's that chord," but, I always feel guilty after something like that happens. I always feel like, um, that's my fault and I should have pushed through, but sometimes there's a point where you can't push through, but that's okay too, because it does open up better communication with you and other people, or you know what? It's humbling because we're not all perfect, and other people maybe watching could have been going, "Oh, I wish I could get up on stage and sing." And then they go, "Oh, Rebecca had a real shit night. I could get up on stage and sing."
I still maintain that was, from an audience's perspective, it was nowhere near as bad as you thought it was. But at the same time, I'm not going to disrespect any artist's feelings. You know, I am in a very privileged position to be given that place to film bands. And if the band doesn't want it to go out and they don't think that it's a fair representation of them as artists, then it's never going to go out.
It's all good, but I appreciate it, and, it's there's plenty of people you could message and they'd be like, "You." So and they
I'm
wouldn't.
here for
Whereas
the content.
we were down in Dublin, I think, that day, ready to do another gig, and I got your reply, and I was just like, "He's so lovely. This is so nice," you know? It's that's good. Thank you. Protecting
Like
the
I said,
music people.
I'm in a very privileged position, and I have no intention of abusing that trust that is given to me by artists. So, yeah, that's how it's gonna work. So let's finish this up. You, I believe, have a question for me.
Yeah, so rolling on from what just happened, actually, you are such a lovely person. I have always loved our chats and, like, just you've got hold great space for people. You're so respectful, kind, and then I see you, like, just out giving more, giving more to people, like bands, like you've done, like, some of the film school stuff, and it we don't need to do things for personal gain, but the majority of the time that's what leads us because we're all chasing carrots on the end of a stick, and um, I would like to know, and this isn't a trick question because even if it is for personal gain, that's okay. I'll not like you any less. But what is it that you feel and get from giving like this and capturing bands and just being there, supporting them, doing these interviews? Like, what is it that tickles your pickle?
Well, there's a number of facets to this, and some of this I've talked about at length before. I've talked about the mental health benefits that I personally get from this. There's and again, I've gone on at length about the my belief that doing this is a social good, and I get so much from this. Admittedly, it's not counted in pounds and pence, but yes,
Which
I
is
get
nothing. Thanks.
an enrichment from it. But I love that describe me as kind and patient because it just shows how little you know me. There's lots of people that would not consider me kind or patient. Um, I will say that I am a very different person now to who I was, we say 15, 20 years ago. Because as I think you know, like my original career was in archaeology.
Love
And
it.
I was very, very career driven, whether it was through lecturing, publishing, whatever. I was very competitive. I was very ego driven. And 15 years ago, that came to an end. I couldn't make a living in archaeology. All that competitiveness, all that climbing up the ladder and didn't care who I stepped on along the way. It didn't save my career and it didn't bring me happiness. And at the age of 40, I ended up retraining in IT. And I had gone from a leadership position to an individual contributor position, and I had only seen the worst of myself as a leader within archaeology. And I said, I will never lead people again. And I held that as a truth for 8 years until I met a person who themselves was a remarkable leader. So something in me that I didn't see and said, I know that you can be a good leader. And whatever kind of pixie dust that guy sprinkled in my
Nice.
eyes, after having this rehearsed for 8 years, I believed that I could do it. And I had a remarkable boss, a remarkable uh, teacher in terms of what it was to be a good leader and what I could give. as a leader. And I realized that what made me the best that I could be was that allowed my focus to shift from personal accomplishment to team accomplishments. And I was very, very lucky to be on a team that relied on a lot of recent graduates. So the next nearest person in age to me was like 15 years younger than me. And we had a lot of people that were just coming out of university. And suddenly I was surrounded by really talented, really enthusiastic young people. And everything I did that helped develop them brought me happiness.
Yeah.
And to the point that I said I no longer had personal career goals. My goals were to develop this wonderful group of people that I was working with. And that sense of happiness has then transported into what I do with bands that, for the most part, you're all young, talented, people that need somebody or want somebody to show an interest, to do something to, hopefully, propel your career on a little bit. And all that I do for free because it it brings me happiness. It does something good for the bands. I would love to think that there was a way of attempting to monetize some aspect of this. And I've always said, like, that basic thing of going to gigs, filming it, that will always be free. But in the last year, we've been working on first a feature film or feature length concert movie with Madam's Last Discovery that's coming out on the 14th of August, and we're showing it in the Accidental Theatre. And if that is anything of a success, I would love to develop it as, we talk about, SaaS, it's software as a service. I'd love to develop this as MAS, MAAS, movie as a service,
Mhm.
where we work with. I've built up an excellent little creative team that can do everything from we'll film you, edit you, do the posters, the trailers, book the uh, book the screen, put an entry into IMDb, and do this thing of going like, let us make Belfast a center of really interesting concert films, and I would love people to pay me to do that. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
realistic, but that's as much as I've got in terms of a business plan. And again, if none of this works out, I'm just going to keep asking the question, how do we have more fun?
Yeah,
And as long as I can keep answering that in a positive way, I'll keep doing this. And the day that it's no longer fun is the day that I stop.
I think it's amazing that, um, some of us are blessed to have enjoyed something so much that it has drowned us, and we've had to climb out and go, "Ah!" And just in that panic of thinking you're not gonna be able to survive, actually, you find something far better, and, like, that's a blessing, so good for you for hanging on, pushing through, and finding your magic on the other side, it's a good feeling.
It is a wonderful feeling. And I think with that, I think let's draw this one to a close. And I say thanks to everybody who's listened and watched us. If you've enjoyed this, please consider following us on Spotify, signing up or subscribing to the YouTube channel. And this has been another Handcrafted podcast episode. We'll see you at the next gig. Thank you all very much and good night.